Hello friends, welcome to Akulmach Live and I am Chandrakant. We all know that the Olympics are going on in Tokyo. It's a global competition. Lot of players with lot of big dreams are competing with each other. It is similar to what we do in business. All the senior executives, they actually partner but also compete with each other with their dreams. And dreams is such an important subject. To discuss this, I will be joined by a very senior industry colleague of mine from Singapore, and he will tell us what you should do when you have a dream, how you can achieve your dream, and in case of a failure, what you should do. It's a very, very important discussion, friends. Don't go anywhere. I'll be taking a short break for some small promo messages, and I'll be joining back along with my guest in a moment. Welcome back, friends, and today we have a very distinguished guest in our studio, Mr. Kevin Cottam. He is joining us from Singapore. Interestingly, he was a choreographer in one of the Olympic Games, and also himself being a champion, a Canadian champion. So graciously, I'd like to welcome Kevin to our show. How are you, Kevin?
I'm great. Thank you so much, Chandra. It's really great to be back again and to be with you in the show. And also, it's just been nice listening to some of your stories before this. So thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. In fact, Tokyo Olympics are going on, and all the nations are fighting. All teams are basically fighting out in different games, and that requires a lot of mental endurance. Feeling of mission, accomplishment. And I think that is the right topic to discuss with you, because you have been working with a lot of chief executives and training them with your mentorship. So keeping the Olympic as a subject, how do we train ourselves? How do we basically have dreams and make sure our dreams come true? You have any thought on that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great subject about dreams. And a lot of the time, all of the athletes, or many of the athletes, are there creating and living a dream. The dream is always for an athlete to become an Olympian, and then, of course, to become an Olympic champion. I'll just share with you a little bit about my story and how that sort of came about. And dreams, so dreams are very interesting. And when I was a young kid, I had dreams of becoming an Olympic competitor, to standing on that podium. And I would see every morning, every night before I go to bed, I'd visualize about being on that podium, how would it smelled like, what it felt like. It was going to be an amazing time. I was a figure skater, and I was a figure skater ice dancer, and I became a junior Canadian champion. And we excelled, my partner and I, very, very fast. And we were the youngest in Canada at that time, which is back in the dark ages, in actual fact. So very, very long time ago. However, sometimes things get in the way. Your life changes. And so what happened was my partner and I split up. And then my father passed away. And so I had challenges with finances, and figure skating being a very expensive sport, that dream didn't really come to fruition again. However, that's actually not true. The dream did come true, and the dream came true in a very different way, in that I didn't realize my trajectory after that. And so I then became a dancer, and then I became a choreographer for National World Olympic Champions, figure skaters. And I also dabbled in other artistic sports like synchronized swimming, and I was choreographed for the Olympic champions in '88. And then I was invited, and also I won the bid with a colleague to put on and direct and choreograph the closing ceremony for the Olympics in Calgary. I mean, I can't say how amazing that was. I mean, it was just like being in the family. It was really living your dream. But I didn't have the dream of actually being a competitor. But the universe sometimes works in a very peculiar way. And I became on the other side in the organization. And that was actually more interesting to me ultimately. So maybe the universe has another goal for you, another dream for you, and another way. So the dream was there, but it came in a different way. And I think that that's what happens a lot of the times, is that we hold on too tight to one dream, and sometimes we get very upset because it's not happening. But you know what? Let go. Dream it, let it go like a goal, and just let it happen, because it may appear and come back at you in a very different way. You just haven't realized it. So yeah, I mean, these dreams are amazing, but you don't know what the universe has in store for you.
Well, Kevin, when you say that you dream, but don't hold on to it, then in that case, how do we basically chase our dream? I think it's a big subject, because when we dream, we have to chase it. We have to accomplish something. So if you say that, hey, just dream it and let it happen as per the universal law, how are we going to push ourselves to achieve that dream?
I mean, again, it depends on which direction that you're coming from. I mean, we can look at dreams as goals, outcomes, possibilities, and we're working towards them. I think sometimes there is a little bit too much holding tight to the ultimate dream. I'm not saying that we don't drive ourselves and to be able to find the ways and to improve ourselves to move towards this dream, whether it be Olympics or whether it be World Championships or might be the CEO of an organization. But what I'm saying here is that keep moving and keep educating or keep training or keep moving towards this, but don't hold on so tightly that you'll be disappointed. Because one of the problems is we get disappointed because we're not achieving that dream on different levels. But in actual fact, we just may. But it may have said, in many ways, maybe that wasn't the dream that you wanted, but this is another dream that is actually better for you. And I think that's where we get lost, is because we hold too tight. And we need to hold a little bit looser. And let's see, what is that path road it's going to take me? And that's what happened for me, and has happened many, many times, is my path road has been a dream or a goal to get somewhere, but it got sidetracked somehow because the learning had to take me in a different direction. And I feel much more happier for that, even though I was like, why didn't I get that? Why haven't I achieved that? But we have to let go of that. There's something bigger in it.
I think when you're saying this, I think it's making a lot of sense, because what happens is that if you hold on to your dream very tight and if you don't achieve that, then it gives you a feeling of despair, so which is very, very dangerous. So I think I understand your point now, that you dream, but exert yourself achieving it, but don't think about the result too much, because the result it's not in your hand. Isn't it, Kevin?
Absolutely. And it's very interesting is that I read a yoga article one time, and it was talking about expectations, and it was very similar to dreams. We have this expectation of how something should be. We have how it should exist, what is the outcome, and this is expectation. And what happens is that we create this in our head very much, and we lock it in. And we lock this in and we go along towards that expectation or what that might be. But there's many things along the road that might make this more important, or might divert you, or might be, I want to try that instead. And we have this expectation going forward. And if we do achieve that expectation, it's never the same as we have created it, because so much has come in that journey to get there. And I think that is the best place, is the journey. And that's what, for me, my journey, but also for these Olympians, that is their journey to get there. And it's the hard work, the tenacity, the building of strength, the building of technique, the building of skill to get there. That is their goal, and to reach the element of height. But not everybody can win, right? And then if you don't, and you've let everything, then you're disappointed. as you say.
I think in many ways this journey of an Olympian can also be equated with a journey of a senior executive. And I'm sure you come across a lot of senior executives asking for help from you, because sometimes, you know, even person like me can get stuck. Anybody can get stuck and they don't know where is the path, and in order to achieve their dream. So in those cases, how do you, or what is your method of taking people along with your rich experience? And you have been a sportsman, and sports is really the ultimate training that anyone can have. So how do you train the senior executives in business to achieve their goals?
Yeah. Wow, that's a big question. And, you know, I equate, and many people equate, is the executives, the top executives are really corporate athletes, because you have to have the stamina, you have to have the endurance, you have to have the skill, you have to have the will, you have to have the mindset to get there. And I think a lot of it is in the mindset. For example, athletes will talk considerably about mindset, having the right mindset, focusing in on their mindset. They talk about mindset. And one of the things in organizations, they never talk about mindset is enough. They talk about skill and they never get to mindset. But the mindset is what's driving the skill. And so for corporate, athletes, which are the executives, and I say anybody that is moving anywhere within an organization, they're athletic. They need a stamina. They need a muscle. They need to have that muscle. And so what I think is actually important is understanding what type of mindset that you have. And that is one thing that I work with my clients on, is understanding what is the mindset that they have. And you know, as I've talked to you before about my book, The Nomadic Mindset, it is about what is the nomadic mindset, and also what is the builder mindset, and what is the settler mindset. And so we talk about all those three. But one of the things that I think is extremely important in the process is that in the coaching that I do with my clients is we talk about, the goal, what they want to achieve, or just, the reflection. And what happens with senior executives is they don't have a lot of people to talk to just freely, and just allowing them with no sort of qualms. And I think that's what a coach does. And what we do with that is that I help them to go, and I bounce with them. I call it bouncing. Is that I bounce from idea to an idea, or I bounce with them to where they're going. And this is part of that journey towards that goal or dream or whatever that they have, because it's never a straight line. Never a straight line. And if you think it's a straight line, good luck, because it's not. And so this bouncing allows them that freedom to be able to get to their dream in a different way, because they are able to bounce thoughts, ideas, reflections, and then they're able to find a new path to a new solution, a new way. But this is building the muscle inside, which is the nomadic muscle, which is the agility, the adaptability, is the looking for paths, looking for creativity, opportunities, possibilities, questioning, listening. And that is how I work with them. And it's very exciting. And they love it, because they say, we start off somewhere and we don't know where we're going, even though I think we're going in a place. But I love the way you bounce with me, or you stand by my side and we travel together. And that I love. And it's just being there.
With the pandemic hitting the entire world, the old methods of doing management is sort of not relevant anymore. And does this, this behavior or behavioral change today that you see among customers and chief executives, does it change your strategy also, or your strategy is, is not dependent on what is going on post-pandemic?
It's, I I think the strategies are different, absolutely. And I think that the world has changed. And I think that definitely we need to think we have to think in a very different way. And I think that what's happened is that we've got ourselves caught in between old, new, but what is the future? But we're still traversing this sort of void of how do we lead? What is important about dealing with our employees? How do we deal with remote work? How do we see hybrid working? How do we see communication? How do we see socialization? How do we come together as a different community? But at the same time, how do we lead with just this square box now a lot of the time? And that takes a very different skill, but it also takes a different mindset, because now it is more flowing. It's fluid. It's more movement. It's always been. It's just now it's very much about movement of the mind, movement of the ideas, movement of people, movement of just everything is in movement constantly. It always has been. It's just now the focus is around that. And I think that this takes a different mindset and a different vision, but it takes a different dream as well, because this can become another Olympic dream in some ways, for an organization.
Absolutely, Kevin. In fact, what is going on right now is that people are totally clueless how the business will go, where it will go, how it will shape up, and the next 10 years are very, very crucial. So if somebody has to take help from a guru like you, what are the ways they can leverage your skill? And is there a method by which they can reach out to you, like an email or a phone call? Or what do you propose to our viewers?
I think that, thank you very much for that question. And, I'll divide that up in that, we are moving into a very different world. We need to evolve. And I think that that's one of the things that is challenged many people is evolution, because we think about change. Change in some ways to me is very horizontal. Change doesn't have a lot of consciousness necessarily. It has a conscious shift, but it doesn't have a growth in consciousness. I think where we're going is change has to evolve. And so we need to move to a more awareness and consciousness of a bigger picture. And I think that's where, in the bigger picture, it is about really thinking globally. It's about finding the interconnectivity of all systems and ecosystems and understanding that they all are, but to honor all of them and otherwise we are so separate. And that is what my research has done, and what has also helped my clients in us understanding, opening up this subject about the future, opening it up and really exploring it and discovering it and the possibilities and how I can fit in, or they fit in, as I should say. And I think that is one of the greatest things that can come out of COVID is this exploration of the possibilities. But we need to get back to it's a whole, it's the holisticness, it's the understanding that everything is in movement and everything is interconnected, all these ecosystems. So people can get in touch with me, sure, absolutely. They go to my website at www.thenomadicmindset.com, or they can contact me at my name, kevin@kevincottam.com. And or Google me and you can see what I've done, or go to my YouTube or on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always the best place, so, and I one of the things that we talked about once before, and that is reflection. And I think that that's what coaching is about, reflection. And it's what really helps executives, because they say, I don't have time for it. And I think that this time we need to spend that. And if they cannot spend it on their own or find it, then we can do it together. You know what's interesting is that I found that one of the greatest things to do is actually from COVID is going walking with my executives, because we go walk and we converse with each other, but we're also exercising. And when you exercise, you become more creative. When you're walking, you become more creative. And so these ideas start to flow more rather than just sitting, you know? And that has been very, very wonderful on many levels, not only for myself, but for them.
Yeah, Kevin, I think this also gives me an idea, because you know I like to share something from my own career. You know, whenever I used to basically call somebody, hey, let's discuss business, they will say, oh, no, CK, we don't want to discuss business, maybe next week. Can you call us back next week and we'll talk about it? So then I really found that it's like a wall that you're hitting. You know, people don't want to discuss business. And then I changed my strategy. I said, hey, are you open for some drinks? No agenda. And people, you know, almost every time they'll say, yeah, why don't you come? Let's meet at Jeffrey's and we'll have a couple of pints. So I think that was important. And I think what you're trying to tell us today is that you go walk the talk with the chief executive, and that will really help them, you know, because they will get new ideas from you and all that. And you actually gave your coordinates, but viewers, you can reach out to us also, and we can make that connection happen. If just in case if you are stuck in achieving your dreams, and achieving dream is very important, never stop dreaming. And Kevin is here to help us to achieve our dreams. So in case if you're not able to trace him out on LinkedIn or on the internet, you can reach out to us on the email mentioned at the end of the program or in the description below, and we will make that connection happen. Kevin, thank you so much for coming over to our show today and discussing something so important about dreams.
Thank you very much, and you're helping me with this dream. It's a dream of sharing to everyone in the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin, and we will catch up next week, same time, for something even more interesting.